Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes, you can. Keeb Dweeb, Conan, Shark, how you guys doing? Oh, already, huh? Alright. Hi, Barra. So before we start off, we got our first redeem. Mom, thank you for watching. I love you, and I appreciate your support. Alright, so there is two things. Again, I made it too cheap. Oh, alright, Keeb Dweeb, we're gonna do it again. Fine. Mom, I love you. Thank you for your support. Okay, you know what? Okay, so for anyone that... Okay, so I see this is not coming through on the little chat. So for anyone watching the VOD, we have... this is the first stream where we have our point redemption thing, and there's basically only two things you can get. The first one is me playing the song Baby Shark. So Shark, who's currently in the chat, that asshole has Baby Shark on his channel. And so he thought it would be a great idea, because his name is Shark, to have Baby Shark, the song, be a redemption. And so I was on a stream on his channel, and it was horrifying. We played it back to back 5 times. Like, I'm traumatized. Then everyone decided it would be a great idea to have that as a redemption here, so we now have it here, except it costs 10,000 points, so hopefully no one can afford it. And then we decided to have the other one be me tell my mom I love her. So Shark just redeemed it, so now we have the third one. So, Mom, thank you so much for watching. I love you very much. And today's Wednesday. We're having dinner tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All right, Barra, we're going to do I Love You, Mom again. I need to make this a little more expensive. Okay, so let me put a little message in here. Mom, I love you, and I'm really hoping that we can go to the Persian kebab place tomorrow, because I feel like Persian food. So, I love you. Thank you for your support. There we go. All right, Rufus, we got another one. All right, so, Mom, I love you for the 6th time, in case you didn't know. Looking forward to dinner. Aaron, for the 7th time. All right, you know what? We're just going to drain all of these points. At a certain point, though, like, these I love yous are going to... I mean, you guys are just straight up taking away from your Baby Shark. But you know what? I'd rather do this than Baby Shark, so I'm good. Mom, I love you. Drain. You know what? I need to have more stuff like this so that nobody gets to Baby Shark. I think that's what we need to do. I think that's what we need to do. I love this. This is basically like, what is this? This is essentially the inflation prevention mechanism. That's what this is, right? It essentially prevents... This is great. Keep them coming. This is genius. Clippy, thank you so much for the sub, man. I appreciate it. Rufus, Aaron, thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it. Can I get a refund? I don't know if that's how that works. Thanks, Mr. Bezos. I do want you to know Baby Shark isn't like that. It's 10,000 points, my dude. Keeb Dweeb, 3 stream streak. Nice. He literally just earned Baby Shark, not Baby Shark, I love you points just in the 3 stream. Okay, you know what? I probably do have to... 10k points isn't much. I don't stream that often, guys. I'm not doing this every day. You only get like... Actually, I don't know. The little mechanism thing, you have 6K already. Here's the thing. I'm not going to jack up the points before the first time someone redeems it. That just feels vindictive. But maybe there's a mechanism in place that every time someone redeems it, points go up by 5%. Maybe the cost goes up by 5% every time someone redeems it. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so there are two things I wanted to do today, and I don't want to take too long because Sterling is streaming the SW65, and I'm very, very pumped for that board. Hey, Mikey, thanks for joining. We can just limit it to once a stream. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think the way that we're going to do this is that within the stream, okay, I reserve the right to change my mind on anything at any point in time. However, I think what makes sense is that within a given stream, the rules can't change. Because that feels a little bit petty. Like, if it's 300 points for I Love You Mom, it's 300 points for I Love You Mom, and that's what it is. This stream, maybe next stream it goes up to 350, 400, we'll see. But I think within the stream we'll leave it as is, and if people hoard points and we do like whatever 10 minutes of Baby Shark, like you're tortured along with me, so it is what it is. So there's two things I wanted to do today. The first one is I was thinking that we look through some of the survey data together. I thought that would be pretty interesting to look at. Yeah, you can just leave and come back, but I can't. That's a good point. Well, actually, no, I could leave too and come back. I just got to play the song. I don't got to sit here. I can go get a drink, hang out with my wife, give her a hug. Hey, Reloaded. Oh, we got another one. I love you, Mom. Thank you for watching or listening. Reloaded, hi. Thanks for joining. Okay, so what I wanted to do today was first take a look at the preliminary survey data. The survey's not done yet. The original timeline was 2 weeks. However, we're very, very close to the minimum target, so I've been thinking about potentially closing it up this weekend so I can get a head start on writing up the report. I thought it would be fun to just kind of go through the data together and take a look at some of the preliminary results. So essentially the way that Google Forms works is it gives you, in the UI, it gives you like graphs, so you can actually look at the data in like kind of preloaded graphs, and then you can take the raw data, put it in an Excel sheet, and then in the Excel sheet you can then like manipulate it, you can do pivot tables, you can slice it and dice it, do a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, the plan, once the survey closes, is that I'm going to take all of the data and put it in Excel and load it up in a few different analysis tools to like sort of slice it and dice it and segment it in different ways. But that takes a bit of time. So I thought it would be cool to go through it together. So that's the plan. I want to look through that initially. And then we'll rebuild the NV70 if there's time. It kind of depends on how long this takes. Okay, let's do it. So for those that don't know, I work in product marketing. And so while I'm not an expert data analysis guru, I've done this kind of thing quite a few times. And I'm not like whatever, a Dumbo at it. Like, I've built these surveys a bunch of times. I'm not totally terrible. So give me a sec. Let's load this. Let's put that there. Okay. Screen. Winkler does look nice. This is the class 65. This is the one that we built on stream on Saturday. Okay, so this is the survey. So for those that don't know, or if you're tuning in for the first time, this is the 2026 Custom Keyboard Community Survey. It went live 2 days ago. 2 days ago. It went live on Tuesday night. Was circulated around a few Discords. There's a whole bunch of questions in here. And so far we have 452 responses. The goal of this survey was honestly basically to kind of have fun and take these skills that I have at work and kind of apply them to this hobby that I really enjoy. I thought it would be cool for everyone to do this exercise together and then kind of have fun for a couple days once it's done and look at the data and talk about it. I thought it would be cool. So we have 452. The minimum kind of goal that I set in my head was 500. So what I was hoping to do was to get 500 as a minimum, and my kind of dream number was 1,000. Now, I don't think we're going to hit 1,000. Normally, the way promotion works, after the first couple days of promoting something like this, you essentially get a huge spike in the beginning where a lot of the responses come in, and then within 24 to 48 hours, things severely trail off. So the fact that we're at 452 right now, to me means that if we're lucky, we'll be at around 500, 550 by the weekend, and it'll kind of basically stop by then. This was promoted on Reddit and on Discord. Now, essentially the way that this has been set up is that there's 3 primary sections. So the first one is segmentation, and so essentially it's questions asking about the people who filled the survey, like your experience level, income. I thought about putting gender in here, but I wasn't sure if that would actually yield interesting results, so we didn't. Where you're located, age, things like that. The reason we put that in is because those are the typical parameters that you want to segment your data by. So as an example, once we actually have the final survey, we'd be able to look at, for example, age and see if preferences change by age bracket. So what I might do is look at everyone that's within the first 18 to whatever age group and look at their preferences for that segment. And then we might look at the next age group and the next age group. So you essentially come up with these segments based on the about you kind of section of the survey. And that's how you primarily slice and dice your data. But there's other ways that you can do it. So where it potentially gets even more interesting is when you segment by multiple criteria. So like, for example, we might look at people that are over a certain age, but also over a certain income, but also, for example, have been in the hobby for more than 5 years, for example. We'll try to focus into very specific subgroups within the data set to try to see if there's trends that we can kind of pinpoint at or whatever. Now, that's not what we're going to do today. Today, what I wanted to do is basically just go through the charts, which is very one-dimensional. It's like, I can see, for example, let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. Okay. So, for example, we can see here that percentage of people and experience level by build. So, like, how many people have more than 16 builds that have filled the survey, right? Now, this by itself, I don't think is particularly interesting. Where it gets more interesting is where you can take this and slice it by a preference. So, for example, it would be interesting if we saw that everyone that has more than 16 builds, for example, predominantly likes Cherry MX switches. That would be interesting. There's a section where we talk about sound profile, right? And so, for example, here we have this small segment of beginners, people that have 0 to 2 builds. Is it likely that those are the people that are more interested in Thoccy sound profiles? So like, there's a section later on where we talk about Thock or Clack or Scratch or whatever. It's possible that this segment, and maybe even what I'm calling the intermediate, and forget the naming, right? The naming isn't really important, but like we can maybe take these 2 segments here, the 0 to 2 and the 3 to 5, and we'll see if there's certain trends in terms of sound preferences here versus the advanced versus the expert. Now, please don't focus too much on the naming. I did this like very late at night, and so it's for sure not perfect. I've already gotten a ton of really, really good feedback about this, so I'm actually really excited to do a V2. Okay, so this is segmentation. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here because I don't think that's super, super interesting. Oh, Elquan's here. Elquan, you're the expert of my heart, my dear. My heart. Okay. How long have you been in the hobby? So for me, a lot of this stuff was actually not super surprising because the majority of the people that filled this out got the survey through Discord. I had expected, it's like pretty reasonable to expect that you're going to have a lot of people that have been in the hobby for quite a while. And so it makes sense that we have not a lot of people that have been in the hobby for only a year or less. We have a ton of people, 30% that's been 5 years plus. The biggest segment is 3 to 5 years. And then right after that is 1 to 2 years. So you can kind of roughly look at this as a breakdown primarily of Discord. I wish you'd had 8 plus, 10 plus, 15 plus. Honestly, a lot of the categories for this, I think there was like a lot of opportunities to do better. Like already looking at this now in retrospect, I think I should have had like 30 plus builds and 50 plus builds and 100 plus builds. I think that would have been very, very interesting. Same here. Like, I think you're right. Like 10 plus, 15 plus would have also been really, really good. Region, this one is also not super surprising. This one, I think the reason it's so heavily skewed in NA is because the places that I promoted this survey are primarily North America. North American servers, at least. There's a couple European servers that were promoted, but whatever, that's what that is. In terms of age, this is also not super surprising. Actually, maybe that's not entirely true. Okay. To me, this group here is like kind of okay. Like I kind of thought this would be the main age group in the hobby. The part that I find a little surprising is I thought the 18 to 24s would actually be smaller. So what I thought was that this group here, 35 to 44, would have been as big as the 25 to 34. So it's like kind of funny how that works out. I'm not too surprised by this number, Keep Dweeb, but okay. The last question, this is the one that caused, I think, the most problems in terms of people's sort of reaction to the survey, was the income question. Like I got a lot of questions from people that were maybe suspicious or different variations of that, specifically about this question. And it's funny because I work in marketing, these kind of questions are very standard to me. So I really didn't think twice about it. I thought this would, like, the way I kind of approached it was to essentially just think to myself, okay, this would be an interesting way to slice the data. And so I added it in, but I didn't think about the reaction that people might have, because all of a sudden now this feels corporate, it feels serious, it feels not whimsical, right? And so the way that it was positioned initially, like in the description up ahead, is that, hey, I'm doing this for fun, I thought it would be cool. And so I kind of get why people might react badly to this, and it's like obvious, right? Because it's a very significant percentage of people that said prefer not to say. I'm actually surprised this percentage isn't bigger. Yeah, Clippy. So like for me, this was a very obvious question, but I think I understand why people reacted badly to it. Did you consider that the audience that answered the survey goes more towards the hardcore? Yeah, so honestly, okay, so I'll maybe take a moment to explain this a bit. This is an idea that I've had for almost a year now. The first time I thought of this idea was, I think, in April of last year. And I had talked about it with a couple people. How much of your income is legal? I talked about it with a few people, and I decided not to launch it last year, but I've been thinking about it for a while, and I got a real burst of energy. Income should have started with 10K. Yeah, so even the income brackets, I don't think worked out super well, because some folks in different regions pointed out that these numbers don't even make sense, like based on where you live in the world. So anyways, all this to say, I kind of did this very late at night in one burst. And because of that, I went with the done is better than perfect mentality. And as a result, there's a whole bunch of imperfections and areas where we could have done better. Like, it's funny because I would never use this survey at work because it requires a lot more actual finessing and fine tuning to be like really, really usable as like a professional corporate survey, right? Like, this is not professional quality. This is just like basically a rush job. Okay. This is where things, I think, get more interesting, where we actually start to look at people's preferences, and this was the biggest section in the survey. So, first one, what is your preferred PCB type? To me, this is like no-brainer. Hot swap versus solder, right? Hot swap is like massively victorious at 70%, not surprising, but it does kind of, I think, give a hint as to why we start to see more and more builds that don't even offer solder boards, right? It's just hot swap only. By the way, Nav, I really dig that you're inviting feedback and iterating on it for next time. Yeah, totally. So there's, honestly, dude, like at the end, the feedback section, there's so much good stuff in there. And there's like stuff that's like no-brainer stuff that that I should like HHKB win key versus win key list, like no brainer should have been in there. Spacebar 6.25 split 7U, like that kind of stuff. Like 30% is more substantial than I thought, to be honest. Honestly, like even this is higher than I would have expected. Also, yeah, 69. Nice. Favorite Switch manufacturer. Okay, so this is actually another point of feedback that was brought up. A lot of people commented that having these questions be single select was not a good way of going about it. In retrospect, I think I agree. My only concern with multi-select is that it makes segmentation and interpretation very, very difficult. Or maybe a bit more difficult. So no surprise here. Actually, sorry, I'll rephrase. One thing that was interesting about this, hold that thought, Aaron. So you guys didn't see this, but when I first loaded this up in the first 24 hours, this survey, 24? 12 hours? The first day-ish that this was live, HMX was number one. Like literally HMX was number one in terms of most popular manufacturer for a significant period of time. But since then, Cherry has overtaken. So Cherry was actually not number one when I first loaded up the survey. It's now number one, which I find very interesting. I actually didn't expect Gateron to have such a big piece. So Gateron technically is number 3. I don't know why, but I wasn't expecting Gateron to be number 3. I thought maybe KeyGeek would be quite a bit higher, and it's like way lower than I thought it was. And like honestly, I don't even know what other is, which is like funny. Yeah, Cherry's still king. I don't think this question is good for segmentation in the first place. Which question, Ruby? Manufacturer Mikey one day. Yeah, one day. I think you could have had on the PCB question a section for both. I will never not have at least one plateless, additional soldered bore. Yeah. The PCB, like honestly, a lot of these questions, like because I basically did this alone late at night, there's like a lot of gaps here. I think both would have been good. There's a world where, so the people that I did review it with a small group of people live, like literally there were a bunch of people in voice chat and I just hopped in, we kind of talked about it together. We thought about including different PCB types here, like having Alps here and whatever others. But yeah, I don't know. Didn't make it in. Okay, what type of switch type do you prefer the most? So I was surprised to see linear this high. Ruby, the favorites. Oh, so okay. So the segmentation questions were the ones up front, like up here. In the About Us sections, like those are the parameters that I would typically want to segment by. But like, for example, I am curious, like, is it possible that the older crowd likes Cherry a lot more than the younger crowd? Like, I wonder if there's like an age thing there or an experience thing there. Like this one I'm very interested. Hello, Cat. Hi, Cat. Hi. Hi. Hi, Cat. Come here. Come. Come. Hi. 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 Hi, Fifi. Hi, Fifi. Okay. Nav, please pet the cat by proxy. Keep Dweeb, redeemed. Mom, I love you. Mom, I love you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Multiple choice wouldn't dilute the data. I agree, it wouldn't. So, okay. When it comes to the single select versus multi-select, I had two things here. One, there were certain cases where I was literally trying to force people to pick one, and I'm curious if they, can we get a Fifi treat redeem or pet Fifi or cuddle Fifi? We could. Vice, okay, we got another one. Can we get a timeout mango redeem? Elquan, you know you're a mod, right? I'm just saying, but like, you know, if you time her out, she has power in certain places that you don't, my friend. Don't empower him. Okay, cat cam, please. Okay, so here's the cat. Hold on. Here's the cat. There we go. Hi, Fifi. Hi. She's very sweet, guys. Oh, I forgot. Mom, I love you. Thank you for watching. So funny. What a cute kitty. Yeah, totally. Okay. Let's go back to the screen. So in some cases, I was literally deliberately trying to force a choice because I was curious who the number one would be. So in some cases, the actual thing I was trying to, so for example, with switches, what I was trying to discover, and it might have been the wrong question to ask, but what I was really trying to understand was who the favorite was. Who was the number one, the most popular? And so a multi-select would have still enabled that, potentially, but we wouldn't have got favorite in the same way because people would simply select all the ones that they like. And so there are a couple multi-selects. You'll see what I mean as we get later. It's like not quite the same in terms of picking a number one. In other cases, I thought that it would be straight up a little difficult to slice and dice the data if there were too many multi-selects. Like that was more just a personal skill issue. I'm hoping that when we do round 2 of this, we'll have a little bit more help in how we do it. Okay, what switch type do you prefer the most? So we were just here. So linear is number 1. That's not super surprising. Ooh, Mango, 7 streams. Yeesh. That's even more impressive because you're EU. Honestly, I think that forcing choice is a good idea, but maybe limit it to 2 to 3 choices. Okay, so part of the other issue is that the tools that I'm experienced with using are paid tools that I use through work. And those tools are super flexible, have a lot of choices. This is my first time using Google Forms. And so part of it was a skill issue where I don't actually know how to do it. Like I was trying to figure out how to do like top 3 choices, and I wasn't able to figure out how to do it in Google Forms. And since my goal was to start and finish this in an evening, like I didn't look too deeply at it. Tactile Gang, 26%. I don't know if Big H will be, I keep trying to scroll down. I don't know if Big H will be happy or not with this, but he was really hoping for this to be higher. Do you mod switches and how often? So never mod, always, almost always or always mod switches. 42% was sometimes mod switches, which I think this is not surprising. What I thought was interesting was this group never mod switches except Cherry. And what's funny is that how do I put this? What I was going to do was originally only have these 3 questions. So basically never mod, sometimes mod, always mod. But I'm the person here that never mod switches except Cherry. I only mod Cherry. I don't do anything else. And that's literally the only reason I put this in. I'm very surprised that it is as high as it is. I'm actually curious how this data segments. How much of the crowd that is in the like almost always mod switches, how much of them are in the 5-year plus gang? You must not have used stock. I have used stock Milkies. I actually don't mind them, Aaron. If you do checkboxes, allowing people to pick more, you can add a response validation to it where you can either, for next time. Okay. Right. Like I said, skill issue. My skill. I like stock Milkies, yeah. Oh, you lubed yours. Okay, never mind. Okay. When modding switches, what is your most commonly used lube for the stem? This one, I don't actually know a whole lot about this. There was someone in voice chat that actually helped validate all the different lubes. A lot of these are lubes that I've never even heard about. So like, okay, we have 205G0, that's the big one. We have I Don't Lube, that's the other big one, fine. But like 206G0, I've never even heard of this. Other, fine. 10 people use a custom blend, meaning they're making their own lube, which is wild. 6 people use oil, 105 oil for switches. 3203 is 5%. 3204 is 4%. Like, I don't even know the difference between these lubes. We have 2 people that use 3205. I don't even know what that is. Like, this I find very interesting, but I don't actually. Okay, I need to go to bed. It's 1 a.m. Okay, bye, Mango. Thanks for joining. Yeah. Aaron, I'm curious, like, is this interesting for you, Aaron? Like, you're the person I thought of, by the way, with this. Uh, you're the person I thought of with this question. Like, I can't make sense of this, but I'm wondering, is it, I think, 204 is just a bit thinner compared to 205, I think. Huh. Okay. Moving on. I think that there are way too many options. Should have had what kind of films do you use? So the thing is, Keep Dweeb, I don't use film, so I don't actually know anything about films, which is why I didn't put a question in here for it, because I actually didn't know what to ask. I think you could do a full survey just on Switch modding. So, you know, it's funny, I was talking to a friend, and he brought up quite a few interesting categories of things to dig into that I didn't even think about. One of them was Switch modding. What was the other one? I have a file that I'm keeping with, like, ideas and stuff, but I don't remember. There's a lot of good suggestions. Okay. Favorite Switch sound profile. So Clacky's number one, which is, like, kind of a no-brainer. I thought Scratchy would be a lot higher. Like, a lot higher. Scratchy only 11%. This is, like legit, I thought Scratchy would be maybe 20-30%. So to see this so low is, like, very interesting. Because the Cherry gang is the Scratchy gang, right? Or at least that's what I thought. This survey could literally be hundreds of niche surveys. So, okay, the idea, this is what I'm thinking of. Dude, I learned that some people lube their Cherry to remove scratch. Well, then what's the point? Okay, but seriously, what's the point of Cherry? What's the point of Cherry if there's no scratch? We should have a survey about what surveys we'd like to see. So, the way I was sort of initially thinking about this is that this would be sort of like the broad general survey to kind of get, like, high-level preferences about stuff. Okay, Shabingus, I legit had Creamy in there. I swear to God, I had Creamy in there. I had it as a sound profile option, and I took it out for people like you. That was kindness, my dude. My answers on this survey would have been so different last year versus now. Taste has completely changed for me. Honestly, me too. Actually, most people who own Cherry mod their Cherry from scratch to be not scratchy. Yeah, but then why? I don't understand. Like, what's the appeal of Cherry if there's no scratch? What about Buttery? So, like, I did not think about Buttery. Creamy was in here, but then I removed it. Then we have Marbly at 65. We have Thaki at 75 people, 14%, 16% respectively. This segment here, the Thaki, the Marbly gang, these guys, I thought this would be a bit higher, to be honest, initially. But then once you look at the experience level, it kind of makes sense. This is the one where I think we'll see stronger correlation between sound profile preferences and time in hobby, I think. You need a loud AF category. There would be one person there, two people, me and you. The bottom out sound and top out sound and overall travel feel. Fair? I think that's just where people start out. Yeah, so I think we'll probably see a stronger correlation. The only thing is that okay, so here we have Thaki at 16% and Marbly at 14%, right? So let's just put these two in kind of like the foamy category, right? So let's just call this the foamy sound preference, which is coming out to approximately 30%, right? So 30% prefer foamy, but in the people that filled the survey, only, well, I guess, okay, so here you have approximately 30% under intermediate beginner, so there could be potentially a little something. However, in terms of time in hobby, right, like a good number of those people are in these big segments here, right? So it's not just beginners, like people that have been less than a year in the hobby that are pure foamless Thaki, foamed and Thaki. Okay. Spring weight. Okay, this one not super surprising. The only thing that maybe actually, okay, I did, how do I put this? Okay, it's not super surprising to me, but I think I would have expected this to be closer to 50%. So like 40-50% in medium, and I thought maybe heavy would be higher. I thought light would be a lot higher. I'm about to build a Thaki foam board. Which one, Aaron? What board? I haven't experienced binding with Falcons, but I do agree they need... I mean, I think most Cherry needs spring swapping. Take your Falcon, swap them. Interesting. Okay, the big miss here was not including 1800s and 96%. That was the big miss. Uh, TKLs are number one. It's been pretty stable. TKLs at around hovering around the 30% mark. I don't know yet, but it's on my to-do list. What are your options, Aaron? What options for foamed up do you have? 65s and 60s are both tied, essentially. Like 65s have a small lead. But essentially the big ones are 60s, 65s, and TKLs, the TKLs being the big winner. I'm surprised that full size is so low. At 4%, this was very, very surprising. No solenoid buzzer question. Well, what would I ask? Do you like solenoid buzzer? Yes, no. Everyone says yes. Favorite plate material, alu. That's fine. The one that I thought was surprising, where is it? Plateless being so low, I thought was surprising. I thought plateless would be quite a bit higher in terms of people that prefer plateless over plate. I don't know if this was clear enough, though. Like, kind of buried, because I feel like maybe plateless was buried a little bit in the options, so this one might actually not be super indicative of plate versus plateless. I'm 3 weeks into researching this keyboard hobby, and today I tore down and desoldered G15 TKL. Is that a Logitech? I'll be putting ambient silent linears and foam in it, as well as lubing the stabs. Love the hobby so far. Yeah, that's great to hear, man. Well, my favorite, honestly, one of my favorite stages was tinkering with pre-builts. Tinkering with them and like tweaking the stabs and making them sound better. That was one of my favorite phases in the hobby. Because I think for custom people, we'll also just build a numpad. I'm not sure about that. Low profile doesn't get a lot of love. You know what? The one thing, low profile in the custom space gets zero love. Like, there's, like, how many low profile custom boards are out there? Like, none, right? How many Alice votes? Alice was very small. Alice was 4.6%, 21 votes. Split Ergo, I mean, you could argue, so Split Ergo was 4.2, Alice was 4.6, so 8% combined. Where's the Ergo gang? Ortho, sorry. Ortho was literally 4 people. Manu and Pent were arguing about this in VC the other day. About what? About low profile? There is one, but it's a 40. Oh, interesting. Okay, favorite weight material. Copper and brass are the leaders, and then steel is trailing behind, not surprising. Alu weight, this one I found interesting. 5% actually prefer alu weight. This was kind of fun. This one was also interesting. 7.7% prefer no weight. I'm curious who these people are. Yeah, I'm a big fan of TKL and low profile. I definitely wish there was more custom boards for this. Yep. But it means I gotta get into PCB designing and make my own. Honestly, I don't know. That might actually work out pretty well. The only problem, and I think this, actually, I changed my mind. This is a theory. I think the reason low profile is not as popular as a custom board is just overhead. Because people have MX switches, they have MX keycaps, like it's all normal stuff. And so all of a sudden you get a low profile board, it essentially adds overhead of an entirely different ecosystem. Like different types of switches, different types of keycaps, like it's all different. That might be one of them. The results are telling me to get a TKL this year. You know, okay. So this is okay, a legit question that I have for you guys. So this is a concern that I had, and I was thinking about this yesterday. Okay, so as interesting as I find this, the survey and the data, I don't think this is something that someone can take as gospel. So essentially, because of all the flaws in its creation, it has to be taken with like a very heavy grain of salt, where you can maybe use it as like an input, but I wouldn't make decisions around it. What was the example? Okay. Hold on. Wait. Where is it? I'm going to use this as an example. Hold on. Where? Okay. Hold on. This is a legit question I have for you guys. So, okay, so because this is your favorite layout, and it's not multi-select, it essentially forces you to make a choice, right? And a lot of people in the hobby have multiple keyboards, right? They don't just have one TKL, they have TKLs, they have 60s, they have 65s. So here's a thought. What if a keycap designer looks at this, and this is something that Shark brought up on his stream that we talked about briefly. Keycap designer looks at this and says, oh, TKLs are the most popular. Alice are the least popular. I'm not going to include second B or Alice bars in my kits, right? So they scope out, and let's say they scope out 40s as well, because the 40s guys are quite low here as well, right? 40s are 3%, 4%. So this is actually something I was thinking about, was how best to, what disclaimers to put around the data when I share it so that people don't over-index on it, right? Like legit, it's something I was thinking about, is like how to prevent people from over-indexing on this or treating it like too much, if that makes sense. Because there are flaws in how it was built, right? Like just this question alone, because it doesn't allow for multi-select, it kind of forces you to potentially think about it a certain way, but it's the wrong conclusion, if that makes sense. I'll hate them forever, won't buy their sets. Yeah, it's a real concern for sure. I have one keyboard with a numpad. It's the keyboard I use the most, but I'm not going to buy a second one unless you really innovate. Interesting. Treating it too much as gospel. Yeah, so like there are a few questions, because they're like, for lack of a better way of putting it, poorly constructed. The way you interpret it has to be like quite particular. I don't think it'll affect, for lack of a better word, mature designers. Probably not. Hopefully they'll take... I'm kind of hoping that people will just look at this as like a fun thing, where it's just fun. We just kind of look at it, you talk about it, and then we forget about it. Like, I'm hoping it'll be more of a fun thing as opposed to like a super whatever thing. It's already that way for DCS. A lot of designers completely leave out Alice and 40 support. Yeah, honestly, this question should have been multi-select. I should have instead just said, what are your favorites? No fun allowed, only marketing data. More keycap manufacturers need to support Chalk V1, V2, as I actually don't know anything about that. I'm sorry. Okay, where were we? Here. Okay, so this is the first multi-select question, and this is what the other ones would have looked like. Select all that apply, favorite mounting style. So my concern with this one is that it doesn't actually, like, okay, for mount, I think it actually makes a lot of sense to do it this way, because there's so many different mounts and you can legit have favorites. I think for for layout, it probably also makes sense to do it this way, because it would allow for the nuance, which is like, what are the layouts you like? What are the layouts you enjoy? Honestly, that would have been better. Damn, too bad. Top mount number 1 at 43%. Silicone gasket at 38%. I'm surprised that pour-on foam gasket is 26. I thought this would be quite a bit higher. I for sure thought pour-on foam gasket would, I'm surprised leaf spring is this high at 17. Oh, and just in case you guys are noticing the difference, so here it says pour-on foam gasket, and here it says foam oh, yeah, actually, shoot. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, so that's 30. This was like a small wording change I made to the question after the survey had been live for a couple hours, because I wanted to be more clear that foam gasket is pour-on foam gasket. So that's why there's these two. It's not actually two different results. You left out PCB snaps, key snaps. That's true. I did. Yeah, you're right. Totally. You should submit the IP addresses of the people who prefer tray mount to the FBI, because clearly they are psychopaths. Honestly, the tray mount people might be HE people, because a lot of HE PCBs have tray mount. No, not HE PCBs, but the wooting boards, like the custom kits or boards that you get for wooting PCBs, they're tray mounts usually. Okay, favorite keycap manufacturer, GMK number 1, not surprising, 60% or 58, KKB at 9.3, other at 9.7, and then Signature Plastics at 6.4. I thought Signature would be a bit higher. PBT fans at 5 is like kind of whatever. SWG, where are they? Did anyone pick it? Literally no one picked SWG. Oh, 2 people picked it. Wow. DMK was 2 people. EPBT was 5. Canon Key. I wonder who picked Canon Keys and Novel Keys as like the branded manufacturer. Awesome, 13 people. Wow. Clippy, how have you been? I've been good, dude. It's good to have you with us. Thanks for asking. I love this, by the way. This like slicing and dicing of the data is really fun. SWG is too new. Yeah, you're probably right. It's very new. And actually, this one was one of the big ones where people complained about it in the feedback later and said it should have been multi-select. I actually think this one would have been a really good one for multi-select, because I tried SWG recently, and if I could pick 3, it would have been my top 3. It would have been KKB, GMK, and SWG. How many voted for Asame? Asame was 2.9%, so 13 people. This, I think, is a really, really good candidate to switch to multi-select. With CRP. CRP was there. Here. 2%, 10 people. Someone get this guy a DCS set. I've never tried DCS, and I'm not going to because their packaging sucks. I refuse. Favorite keycap material. Interesting that 3 people picked ceramic. 55% voted yes. 45% voted yes, but in yellow. What am I missing? High dynamics. Yes, Aaron. Oh, me. You said Navi. You said, okay. Like, if I could have picked 3, it would have been GMK, DCS, and CRP. Interesting. I have not tried CRP either. So DCS and CRP I have not tried. Also, there's DCX. That's another miss that someone pointed out in the comments. I totally forgot about the drop stuff. Isn't SWG the name as SW just after they changed from blend to ABS? Yeah, exactly. No, so yes, but no. So SW was a blend of PBS and ABS and PBT, but it was also a different mold. So with SWG, they moved to Keyreative, but they own the mold for Keyreative, so they're the only ones that can use it. So it's Keyreative as a manufacturer, technically. But it's ABS, pure ABS with a straight up different mold. Okay. What profile do you prefer? So this one's not surprising again. Cherry's the big one. MTNU looks like second place with 5%. And then we have a few of the other ones down below. Cool. What aesthetics do you gravitate towards? So minimal neutral number 1, 71%. Luxury premium number 2, 46%. Retro vintage, this one I think could have been lower. Like 35% is a pretty good number, I think. The one I thought would be like legit higher is Simple Box on Wedge. I thought this one would be much, much, much higher. Like, because this is basically like the spider crowd, right? The people that want like this simple, classic, like box on wedge style. I thought this would be quite a bit higher. I'm also curious how this breaks down by age, time in hobby, and experience in hobby. I have DCX on my Type K. Oh yeah, nice. DCX is nice, quite smooth. Cool. Box on wedge can also be minimal neutral. That's true, but like, yeah, I guess you're right. I do think they're distinctly separate though. Like, okay, buying behavior. This was, I think, one of the other questions that A, people were not super happy with, but also B, that could have been done a bit better, because a couple people pointed out that they don't actually have monthly keyboard spend, that it kind of fluctuates quite a bit, where some months it spikes up and then some months it goes down. And this is another one where there was a decent prefer not to say, although the prefer not to say was quite a bit lower than the previous money-related question. One thing to point out, by the way, is that there's for sure one troll response that I spotted very early on. But one thing that I'm going to have to do is probably scan through this to remove troll responses, because there was one person that just went through the whole thing, picked as many others and prefer not to say as possible, and got to the end, and in all the open text comments, it just said, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Like literally just the same thing copy pasted. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of like cleaning, or at least like scanning through to make sure that like some of the troll responses are. See you later, Mikey. Thanks for stopping by. The reason GMK packing makes me annoyed is the keycap literally falls out. Yeah, totally. I wish I could not spend monthly. My wallet would like it more. Yeah. 3 troll responses, the ceramic enjoys. You know, I tried it once. I had the Nanda 65 or whatever. It wasn't bad. It was kind of nice. I spend more on keys than my mortgage. That's not good, bro. That's not good. Okay, okay, so actually this one, so, oh, that's changed. Huh, okay, so how many keyboards have you purchased in the last 12 months? So the last time I checked this, which was a day ago, there was only one response in the 70 plus category, and it was the troll response. So like one of the things I'm actually curious about doing is looking at the higher tiers here, the 40 to 70, the 70 plus, even maybe the 20 to 40, and like what are their preferences? Like the people that buy 70 plus boards, like what do they like? I'm curious, like the 40 to 70s, like this group here, which is 11 plus 12 is like whatever, like 13 people. What do this 13 people like? I'm very curious. Or even if we group like the 10 pluses. So, and actually the more I think about it, like it's kind of interesting, right? Because I wonder if there's something here to look at this closer, because essentially the vast majority of the people that how many? Actually, straight up 50% of the people that submit the survey have purchased 5 or less keyboards in the last 12 months, which is like a keyboard, 5, it's at the upper end, we're talking about a bit less than 1 every 2 months. And at the lower end, we're talking about 1 or 2, 0 to 2 a year. Wait, actually, no, I'm reading this wrong. Sorry. It's this group and this group. So it's 31 plus 36. So actually, it's even higher. It's 66%, 67% purchased 5 or less keyboards in the last 12 months. Interesting. I wonder what the preferences of like, I wonder if there's something here. I wonder if we can take this and segment this by preferences. I wonder. I probably spend $1,300-ish a month. Holy. I spend a lot more on keys than my car. Well, yeah, me too. Yeah, I could have a nice Bronco Raptor if I stopped buying keys. Totally. I have returned. Hey, EJ. All OTDs. What's an OTD? I love all keys. I'm an equal opportunity keyboardist. I am too, except for 40s. And I guess Alice. This is like an intervention. I can't remember if I picked 40 to 70 or 70 plus. Keybdweeb, did you buy 70 plus keyboards in the last 12 months, dude? If you are my spirit animal, not the other way around. Maybe. That's so funny. Okay. Honestly, I haven't done the survey yet. And I'm going to do it. I'll do it before it closes. But my dude, I'm up there too. I haven't done, okay. I actually know the number because let me rephrase. I don't know the number by heart, but I have the data in my inventory and I'll go look at it. I'm just scared to look at it. Elquan, was in the 3 to 5. Nice. Anyways, let's move on. In the past 18 months, for sure, 70 plus. Okay. In the past 2 years, for me too, for sure, 70 plus. But I'm not sure if it's in last year. What influences your purchasing decisions the most? Select all that apply. Although I don't have them all. I've sold a lot of them. He isn't sitting on $700 boards, thankfully. Yeah, I'm not. I only started getting into the more expensive boards recently. So like a lot of my keyboards were like pre-built and budget stuff. I was very much into budget stuff until somewhat recently, actually. Like I still have a Molly 60 right there. Alexa, don't you dare. Over there, like there's like a bunch of budget stuff around here. I still like the budgets. It's a lot of Tiger Lights. What influences purchasing decisions the most? Select all that apply. Okay, I thought sound was going to be much, much higher. Like way, way higher. Design and aesthetics, this crowd I thought would be lower. I thought a lot more people would be into build quality and sound tests. Like I really thought sound test would be number one by like a wide margin. I didn't think brand reputation would be this low because it's select all that apply, right? Like anything that applies. Price is also a lot lower than I thought. I thought price would be like up here. Creator reviews a lot lower. Like this whole section was like pretty interesting for me. Oh, the number went up. Nice. Where do you primarily discover products? So this one should not be surprising because we got most of the data on off Discord. Like it's mostly Discord people that that actually did the survey. So this being 45% is not surprising. I did also post this on Reddit. So like that makes sense that there's a decent Reddit crowd. YouTube is not surprising. Geek Hack is not surprising. Instagram I thought was kind of funny, and Twitch too. Like those being the main. How can we complete the survey? I'm curious now. If you go to Reddit and Mechanical Keyboard subreddit, there is a post that went up 2 days ago, a day or two ago. You can also find the link on my Discord, or I'm sure someone can copy paste it. Actually, you know what? I can do it. I don't know what I'm talking about. I can do it literally right now. There you go. Okay, it brought me to the beginning. Nice. Okay. Where am I? Discovery. Okay, group buys versus in stock. Okay, do you prefer group buys or in stock purchases? Depends on the product, was the big one, which kind of makes sense. I'm actually not sure that it was good to include the depends in here because the depends is like not useful. Doesn't actually help us. Like it doesn't tell us anything. And so in retrospect, I actually don't think this was a good one to include. I think we should have forced people to pick something because this literally tells us nothing. Like depends is whatever. In stock, like you know what? I wonder if we removed this. Honestly, I wonder if this question, depends on product, invalidates the whole section. I kind of think it does. I'm not sure. I just buy anything, whether it's $60 Test 65 or $800 TGR board. Really? This section? So this question: do you prefer group buys or in stock purchases? This option here depends on the product. I think I should have taken this out because I think this invalidates this entire question because it doesn't tell us anything. So if we say group buys, these options, the first three tell us something. Even split kind of tells us something. They're basically saying group buy is 50-50, that's fine. But depends on product, it's like totally, it's useless. And because it's such a wide margin of people that picked it, it basically invalidates the whole question. Because, yeah, that sucks. Oh, that sucks. Okay, what motivates you most in the hobby? Select all that apply. Okay, this one I thought was, yeah, so Barra, this basically, like, next time, I think I'll ask this question again, but, like, we'll just do it better in the next one. I think it tells us what people may have not have a preference per se. Maybe. It's such a cop-out, honestly, now that it's a very cop-out option. It's like, because this could mean, this could mean I like Okay, it could mean I like group buys for keyboards, but I don't like group buys for keycaps. It could mean I like in stock for keycaps, but it's like there's just too many variations. There's too many ways to interpret this. It's just the whole thing's a write off. Honestly, when I do the report, I'm literally just going to ignore this one. I'll ignore it. I thought this was interesting. So, what motivates you most? Okay, so if you remember up above, what influences purchasing decisions the most? Sound test was super low, right? So only 46% of people said sound tests influence what they buy. But then when you go down, what motivates them most, 66% said sound motivates them the most. So then the question is, if sound motivates you a lot, why don't sound tests factor into your purchase decisions? And so one thing that will be interesting to do is to essentially do a pivot that takes people that selected sound but did not select sound tests and look at that group of people and essentially try to figure out what's up with that group. So like if they care about sound but they don't care about a sound test, what do they care about? I think you should share it, but at the end of the report, let readers know why it was omitted. So the raw data will be shared. So like literally the Excel that has all the raw data in it, that will be shared. So anyone can go and look at anything, right? In the report itself, the way that these reports typically work, like if you get like a market study professionally, like I don't know what industry you work in, but like most industries have a proper analyst that analyzes the industry and does market studies on it. So they do a survey, they survey people in the industry, and then they write a report. The report will not report on every field of data. So it doesn't literally go through all the questions and variations and give you literally everything. The report is a summary that essentially highlights the most interesting conclusions that you could take from the data. So like all the stuff that I talked about segmentation, the reports that you could buy for an industry will look at it, analyze it, and then they'll say, here's 10 pages of interesting stuff we found out. So the report will be a summary of like findings, basically, like this is what we found out from the survey, and then the raw data is available and anyone can go and look through it and come to their own conclusions too. Every sound test is done with Cherry MX linears. I'm part of that group. I think the main problem with sound tests is that they're not accurate to real life. That's true, like sound tests are not accurate, but if you care about, but then how else would you judge, right? Like if you care about sound, the sound test has to matter to some degree, right? I don't know. How important is sound profile when choosing a build? Okay, this was also interesting because you have such a large percentage that said very important. Actually, I wonder. What motivates you most? 66% said sound is among the things that motivate the most, but only 54% said sound was very important. Oh, man, I really need to do this better this time. Some of these questions are like bringing up more questions instead of giving answers. I'm also curious who this group is. This will be another interesting point of segmentation. The people who are neutral or don't care about sound. Sound test can give you an idea of the board or switch and how it's going to be compared to what you like, even if it's not 100. Yeah, I see. That's how I agree. Oh, you put neutral, EJ. Interesting. So EJ, if sound is not important, then what's most important for you? Like when you're choosing a build, if it's not sound, what are your like top 2, top 3 things? Sound can be modded in a way that aesthetics can't as easily. That's true, but like boards do have natural sound profiles, right? Like I can pull out a oblique and a parabolic 60, right? Like put the same switches in both of them, they will sound different. Even with like the same plate, same everything else. Sound is number 1 and then appearance. EJ, aesthetics and build quality. Interesting. So EJ, you're kind of like Vic, because Vic also is like her number 1 is aesthetics. What's her number 2 is typing feel. Oh shoot, did I put typing feel? Oh, I did. Okay, thank God. Huh. What part of the process do you enjoy the most? Using daily, cool. Researching, this is bigger than I thought it would be. Building, this is kind of to be expected. Collecting. Modding, I thought modding would be quite a bit higher, honestly. Filming, sharing is... I thought filming, sharing would be quite a bit higher, actually. Because like people, I think, like to... Oh, this should have been a multi-select. Was it a multi? No, it wasn't. God damn it. This should have been multi-select. Oh, that's too bad. That's why. Again, this is like... I should not have rushed this. That's too bad. Elquan, I like researching and building. Me too, actually. Sound is number one and then appearance. Hate to be that guy, but if you don't care about sound, then you're probably an HE user. Pent wanted me to tell you that the group... Tell you that the group that says sound isn't important is Vicky. Vicky just created like 10 accounts, 10 Google accounts just to like spam the data. People don't have cameras or lighting or good pictures. That's a good point. Yeah, that's fair. But like, it's not hard. Like my first few pictures, I literally just like took it to my living room, put it on a table, and like took a picture with my phone, right? Halfway through, in terms of sound, it's the case of I can fix... Halfway through, in terms of sound, it's a case of I can fix her. Feels like I have tricks or switch... Oh, that can achieve... Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's fair. And actually, you know what, Dynamics? I feel the same way. I don't know if you've been around long, but I have a board that I am notorious for hating on, which is the Noose, and it's been like the biggest thing of mine is like getting that thing to sound good. And I love it. I'm enjoying it. Even though I hate the board because it sounds like crap in most configs, like I'm enjoying the pursuit of making it sound good. I don't hate the board, okay? I can exaggerate, it's fine. Sometimes I have more fun learning things in this hobby than building. Honestly, I'm with you there. This is bigger than I thought it would be. Words I only hear when people look at my waistline. Sorry, autocorrect butchered. No worries, dude. I do have a smartphone and the sun. Exactly. Hey, Mikey, welcome back. No matter what I try, all my pics look like ass. You know what? I think it depends, because like with iPhone, a lot of phones just, with iPhone in particular, just takes great pictures, and I think there's some phones that just take very good pictures. I love taking a shitty board that everyone hates and making... Honestly, dude, Keep Dweeb, I feel the same way. Okay, Dynamics, you have asked the question? One moment. Okay. This is the Matrix Noose. It is one of my most expensive boards. Okay. It's very cool. This is the side profile. Okay. It opens like this. It has a hinge. Okay. It's very cool. Very cool board, right? Look at the back. Very cool. Cool board, right? This is great. The only problem is that it sounds like total ass cheeks. I've had this board for 4 or 5 months now. I've rebuilt it like 30, 40 times. Everyone knows this, so like I'm boring everyone to death by going over this again, but I will do it for you because you have asked me. It's the worst sounding board I own, and it is the board that has turned me off from expensive boards. I'm not even joking. I basically avoid most expensive boards now because of this. Because this thing costs $450 plus $50 for an extra PCB, plus shipping, tax, and import, plus money for a carbon fiber plate and a PEI plate, and now 2 additional it's a whole thing. This is not news time. News time is later. Let's put it aside. Oh, Manu, thanks for joining. Let's get back to our survey. Okay. Community and content. Oh, God, chat is going fast today. Alright, guys, I'm going to miss some things. I'm sorry. It is like, cool. Now, since you hate it so much, send it to me so I can... No, dude, I want to make it sound good. This is the fun. I want to make it sound good. It's a real Navid stream, guys. He's talking about the Noose. Yes. Let me guess. It is a 1.2 mil PCB. That's the PCB that came with it. Oh, God, I'm on the frickin' Noose again. But I have the 1.6, so we'll no max it. Everything will be fine. Matrix boards are money pits. Dude, I'm $1,000 into this thing. Not literally 1,000. Well, actually, yeah, I'm 1,000 Canadian into it. I'm like maybe 700, 800. I don't know. A lot of U.S. real money into it. The problem with Matrix boards is 1.2. I don't agree. I'll rephrase. I have some 1.2 mil boards that are fantastic. Like the Shelby 65 comes with a 1.2 and it is an amazing sounding board. The Velvet TKL by Makers 1.2, amazing sounding board. I can pull them out later. Someone brought up the noose and it turned me on a whole frickin' tangent, okay? It's not my fault. We're doing... I've ignored most, if not all, matrix boards after the Corsa since they no longer include soldered PCBs in the group buy. So I got 2 of the 1.6s. They're solders. Now I'm just putting the key geek. Dude, the Y2 is too muted, Mikey. I don't like the Y2. But fine. I mean, I'll try. Okay, I'm not falling for this. We are going to go back to the survey. How often do you consume keyboard-related content? So the biggest group is daily. After that is weekly. Again, this is not surprising because we're heavily biased towards the Discord crowd. This was shared basically almost entirely on Discord. I think very few... One question I should have asked in the beginning is attribution. So where did you hear about this survey? Was it Discord, Reddit, or social media? I'll do that next time. What platforms do you use most for keyboard content? So YouTube is number 1, Discord is number 2. That's cool. TikTok is very low, Twitter is very low, Instagram is higher than I thought it would be. Reddit is... I don't actually know what I think of that. Twitch is definitely lower than I thought it would be. Barra, I did not ask attribution. So, I'm specifically talking about how you heard about the survey. So, usually there's a question at the beginning, which is attribution, which is essentially asking them how they got to the survey. I didn't ask that. That would have been really interesting, just for me learning where people came from. What content format do you prefer the most? So reviews were number 1 and build streams were number 2. Not surprising. Sound tests are number 3, so I'm assuming this means the little shorts on Instagram, which is cool. Educational guides, memes, cool. And then shorts and reels. Oh, I did separate shorts and reels. Okay, never mind. Well then, hold on. You see, this is another example of kind of small boo-boos and mistakes that I made as I was kind of rushing through this Tuesday night. Again, most shorts and reels are sound tests, right? So I think I should have removed sound tests from the category and just left it as reviews, build streams, and shorts and reels, maybe. Another area to improve next time. The next question is funny. I see so much Keep content organically on TikTok. Interesting. Interesting. I'm not on TikTok, so I don't actually know. But, interesting. Do you trust creator recommendations overall? Neutral, somewhat trust. Neutral and somewhat trust are essentially the biggest group. Strongly trust is a very small group. The smallest group is do not trust at 4%, and then rarely trust at 10%. I wonder how this will intersect with the previous 2, right? So I wonder, for example, do you trust creator recommendations? So this one being here, the do not trust and the rarely trust crowd. So that's 70 people or almost 70 people. I wonder how often they consume keyboard content and where they fall into these 2. That'll be an interesting thing to look into. Neutral options for trust are cop-out. Should have given 6 options instead. Honestly, I'm not sure because if you think about it, no, I'm actually not sure about that because I do think there are a group of people that consume keyboard content as a form of entertainment. And so they're not consuming it to actually get necessarily real information. They're consuming it for entertainment because they like keyboards. And then maybe they go make their own decisions. The other thing, by the way, is that there are facts, right? So maybe what's happening with some of the neutral crowd is that they're taking the facts from the reviews. So they'll take objective, whatever, sound test facts about the build and not actually take the recommendation of the creator. So for example, you watch a build stream and the person on the build stream, oh my God, this is amazing, you should go buy it. So how much do you trust the recommendation versus the content? Okay, now this last section, which is the open comment section, I'm not going to go through each one because there's tons and tons of stuff in here. I was very, very impressed with how many people actually filled this stuff out. This, I think, will be some of the most fun information, is some of the stuff in here. So feedback for the survey, 171, dude, nobody in in the open text industry, like I'll rephrase. In the business of doing surveys, the percentage of people, when you do a survey like professionally, the percentage of people that do open comments is like insanely low, like shockingly low, at least in my business, right? My industry. So this is very, very, very interesting. So the whole thing will be open sourced. So literally the Google Sheet that has all the raw data will be published along with the report. So once I write the report, what I'm going to do is essentially do a Reddit post and a Discord post and a social media post that essentially has links to both documents. So one doc will be the actual report, so the document with the writing and the summaries, and then the other one will be the Google Sheet with the raw data. So everyone's going to be able to go through and look at this. And actually, this is part of. I actually think this is part of the value of this is the open text stuff, because so many people filled it out. So 171 feedback on the survey. There's a lot of areas to improve, so that makes sense. Did you mention that this will be published at the start? I can see some people not liking their open text. I did. Everywhere I promoted it, I specifically said the data will be shared. And up front, where is it? The final report and data will be published publicly and free for the community on the Discord server and on Reddit. So not only does it say it here, but in the places, the actual text where it was promoted, it's everywhere that the data will be shared. The other thing is that there's no personally identifying information in any of this. So like there's nothing that ties a person's written answer to them. There's no email. There's no none of that, right? Like you can. Where is it? Okay, so like I can literally go through the individual responses, right? And you'll see like this is one out of 456 or 2. I can go to each individual's response and you can literally see what they picked. There's no identifying information in any of this. Like on the settings, where is it? Yeah, so collect email addresses, do not collect. Send responders a copy off, allow response editing off, limit to 1 response on. So basically, they're required to sign it, or you're required to sign into Google in order to do it, so that we can make sure it's 1 response per person. But I don't actually get the email addresses. So like the Google Sheets, like this is the raw data. So I'm literally just going to take this and publish this once we're done. There's no email here, so I just have a timestamp, and then there's like some basically what they picked. And this is what will be made available. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the summary. Go down to the bottom. Okay, so 171 people get. This is a typing hobby, not a reading hobby. Exactly. Less complaining about sets not covering your weird layout. I feel so judged. Okay. Next one. Okay, this was okay. So I think this one will be fun. What would you like to see improved about the keyboard community? So I think this one will be fun for everyone, and I think some of the analysis of this section, like essentially like the summary of this, I wonder what the trends will be. And the great thing is, I mean, I guess depending on your perspective, but now in the day of LLM, I can actually take this data, feed it into a LLM, and it can actually give me trends and kind of analyze this in ways that I might not be able to by looking at 214 responses line by line. So this will be fun. What is your all-time? So this is one of the fun ones, I think, by the way, and it's really cool that so many people responded. So I actually scanned through this data. Guys, the F1 shows up so much, like so much. Like even now you can see like F1, F1, F1. It shows up everywhere. Can you tell what Rufus, you're all, you know, Rufus probably is all of it. I bet you for the last 2 days, he's just been creating Google accounts over and over and over and over again. Elquan, I didn't answer the last page. Elquan, you are in the minority, my dude. Looks like most people did, but it's okay. That's why I made it optional, by the way, is because I knew that I thought much more people would not respond. All-time favorite keycap sets. I scanned through this. I wasn't able to get trends out of it, but we'll see. All-time favorite Switch. This will be fun too. These ones, I think these are going to be the most fun. Just like for the community, just to like see what the popular sets and stuff are. Cool. The next two, these are the ones that I think will be useful. So if you had one message to give vendors in the hobby, what would it be? I think this will be really interesting. This question and the other question, these are the two questions that I'm actually hoping will legit help the hobby. Like, you never know how this will be used, but I'm hoping that vendors and designers will read through this and potentially actually get insights out of it. I mean, I don't know. And some of it feels quite negative, but some of it does feel like it does feel authentic, right? Like people are actually saying what they think. And I don't know how many opportunities we have in this hobby to like just straight up give feedback. The problem is you don't know who's going to read it, right? So we don't know what vendors and designers are actually going to look through this and take it seriously. But to me, this is part of the real positive impact it could potentially have. So we have 220 people giving messages to vendors, 240 people messages to designers. I don't know. I think that's really cool. Bring back poop in the pool keycap set, but also continued original designs. It's inspiring. Some of this stuff is great, guys. And that's it. Oh, no shit. We went up by like 7 just while we were reviewing this. That's great. So that was it. That was the that was the data. Let's see. Where was I at? Ooh, okay, guys. Sterling is online with the SW65. I want to go watch. So let's give Sterling a raid. Guys, thank you so much for spending time and hanging out. We will do the NV70 another day. Hopefully before the group buy closes. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Let's do the raid. Let's find him. How do I do this? Okay. Raid. Raid? Where's the raid button? Okay. There we go. Where the hell is Sterling? Oh, there he is. Oh, sorry guys, this is taking me a second. Let's do it. Okay, I love you guys. Thanks again for joining. See you soon. Bye!